Hi everyone, I'd like to introduce the new X-lookup function. This is available in Office 365 on the monthly channel, or if you're a semi-annual subscriber, you will get that update July 2020. The X-lookup function replaces the V-lookup and match and index, so it's really powerful and nice and simple. Let's have a look at a simple V-lookup example and see how we can use the X-lookup instead and see how flexible it is. I've got data on this first sheet. And on the detail sheet here, I've got some more information relating to the same records. So I'm just looking to bring back the date. Let's use the X-lookup. So equals X-lookup. We can see the prompt here. You can either double click it or press the tab key. And just following the prompts, you can see more than a V-lookup. We've got quite a few extra options available. So the lookup value here, we need to match the common denominator. So the invoice is in both lots of data. So we're going to use that. So I'll use the invoice. Because it's a table format, it's giving me this cell reference here. Comma, now we're looking for the lookup array. So we're looking for that invoice number. Where are we looking it up from? We're looking it up from the detail sheet, and we're looking up from the invoice, which is column C, comma. And what's the return array that we want? Well, we're looking for the date. Interestingly here, if you use the VLOOKUP all the time, you'll know that with the VLOOKUP, it has to be on the right of what we're looking up. But here, with an X-lookup, we've got the flexibility to choose any column. They must be the same shape, so I've taken the entire column here. And that's as simple as it is. You can see there's lots of extra options, which are in square brackets here, and we'll explore those in the next example. I'll press Enter, and it performs the lookup for me. Now, the next example, let's look at this one here. We've got some data, very simple, and we've got a list over here. Let's see what happens when the result is not available. So I'll start on the list here, and I'm looking for the mobile number based on the last name here. So equals X-lookup. I'm looking for the last name, comma. I'll go to the records sheet, and I'm looking at the last name column, comma. And I'm looking for the mobile number, so I'll choose column C. Press Enter. Let's copy that down. Okay, so we can see there's some error messages here. Previously, in a VLOOKUP, I would have shown people how to do an if error. But with an X-lookup, if we continue the argument, let's just jump into continue the formula. Put a comma in. If it's not found, what do we want instead? We might just want to have a 0, and that would be fine. Let's press Enter and update that formula. Great. Or if we don't want a 0, we could put text in. Let's try that. So I'm going to backspace over the 0, and in its place I'll put not found. Any text that I use here has to be in speech marks. That's it. There's more arguments there, but I don't need to use those, so I'm just going to leave them. Press Enter, and I can double click that. So let's do it once more. Equals X lookup. I'm looking for white, comma, from the column A, comma. I'm looking for the employee number this time, comma. If it's not found, give me a 0. Press Enter. And let's double click that down. Perfect. So Wilkes, Perriman, Jennings and Hale, etc. weren't in that other list, so it's returned 0. Much easier than a VLOOKUP, and I don't even need to use if error. It's right there for me. In this example, I previously would have used a VLOOKUP to get these results, but instead of using false at the end or a 0 at the end of the VLOOKUP, I would have left it blank because I'm now looking up a range. Let's see how this corresponds to an X-lookup. Equals X-lookup. So here we've got some students who have sat 3 exams, and based on the average mark we can work out what their grade is. So average mark is the cell I'm looking it up, comma. I'm looking up from this range here, which I'll need to lock in because I'm going to copy this formula down. Using the F4 key puts those dollar signs around it to lock that cell reference, comma. Which cells do I want returned? It's these ones here. F4 to lock it in. If it's not found, I'm not worried if it's not found because I want it to round down. So for example, if someone gets 20, they'll get an F. So comma. Now we're up to the exact match. So I want it to be an exact match or the next smaller item. I'm going to choose that option and press Enter. Great, so let's have a look. So if someone gets 73, we can see they get a B. If someone gets 62, we can see that it's a C. they wouldn't get a B until they hit 70 or above. So that's working perfectly. Okay, in this next example, we're going to look at how X-lookup can replace match and index, and it's super simple. From this discount table, I want to look up product 2 for quantity 5. So the result I'm after is 12%. Let's see how to do it. Equals X-lookup. So I'm looking up product 2, comma, from the product list. I don't need to lock it. I'm not copying the formula down. Comma, what's my return array? Well, I don't know yet because I need an extra lookup option. So I'm going to go X-lookup again. I'm also looking up quantity 5, comma, from the quantity list. Comma. Now what's my lookup array? It's these blue cells. Now I need to do a double bracket to finish, one to finish the second X-lookup and one to finish the first X-lookup. Press enter. And it's 12%. Let's make this even better. What we can do is we could go to the data ribbon and add a little bit of data validation. I'm looking to add a list, and my source is these cells here. So now when I click on the drop down, I can choose one of the options. And for quantity, let's do the same thing. So from the data ribbon, let's go to data validation, and I'm going to allow a list, and the source, I'm going to select my cells across here, which are the quantities. Click on OK, and I can choose a quantity. So now, as I'm switching these options around, I'll see that X lookup automatically updates. So product 5 for quantity of 5 is a 15% discount. Let's change the quantity to 100, and it's 19%. Let's check that there. Perfect. I love X lookups. So another great feature from Microsoft 365.